Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, so we are here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. I'm Bradley, and as usual, I'm joined by Stu, yes, Stu, who has taken footage of the police that raided his house and made satirical songs about pound cake and being a son of a bitch. How you doing, Stu?
Pretty good. That was the Afro Man story, isn't it?
It was, and it's brilliant.
It's superb. Yeah.
Turned up to court wearing an American flag, essentially, which was hilarious in itself. And then just like seeing the footage of it. This is the best thing about American court system. Like, you get to see all the footage of it because that's what they do. Everything has to be sort of like televised in some way. And sort of asking them questions about... how's this affected your life? And the cop have to go, people keep mocking me about pound cake and sending me free cake. Like, and the best one was asking one of the officers, is you being a son of a bitch just an opinion? He went, there's no way of being able to prove that. My mum's dead. And it's just like, what?
He is schooling them.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. It is my feel-good story of the week, that one. Defamation cases is the feel-good story.
I know, you wouldn't believe it, would you? But it's better than everything else going on.
It is indeed, but yeah, really did make me laugh, that one. Do you know what else is high on life?
What is?
The video game High on Life, Stu.
That's true, it is. Good segue.
Yes. I could have said because I got high on life, but I didn't. That would have been anyway, I've not been playing that. I don't even know what I'm doing, Stu. One of those days.
Well, what have you been playing? That's the question to ask, isn't it?
Well, I have been playing the most exciting video games known to this world.
Yeah.
Full of action.
Ooh.
And I have been playing... Actually, it's an autism week. Let's call it an autism week, shall we? Because I've been playing train games.
Excellent.
Starting off with, from the makers of Train Sim World, Dovetail Games, becomes the most serious of simulations. Thomas and Friends Wonders of Sodor, a standalone train simulator game based around the world of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Excellent.
Yes. Anyway, look, this is essentially, part of me wants to say this is Train Sim World for kids. That's pretty much what you've got. It's Train Sim World for all its faults and all its goodness that you get, but it's set in the world of Thomas the Tank Engine. You get to basically drive the various different trains from Thomas the Tank Engine around very faithful recreation of Sodor. And you get to, as you're playing it, you get the different stories from Thomas the Tank Engine, from the world and everything, which is really well done. So what essentially I thought this was going to be was just, I actually thought this was going to be some DLC for Train Sim World, where you just got to basically drive as the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff. But no, it's a complete standalone game. And it's got loads of like original stories in there, and you have to kind of follow them by driving the various trains, which is brilliant. It's essentially an interactive storybook based around Thomas the Tank Engine, and yeah, it plays really, really well. You know, it kind of, if you can bump up the settings, it does feel like you are playing the original TV series. So, where it's kind of like proper model trader, it does feel like you're in that world. On lower settings, it feels a bit more video gamey, but on, like I say, the top settings, it feels like it's got that kind of slightly awkward movement that the original series had to it, and it works really, really well. Much in the same way that when you're playing Spider-Man games and you get to unlock the Miles Morales suit, and it does that 12 frames per second or the half frames animation that just feels legit brilliant. This has got the same sort of thing, but in that kind of jerky model movement type of thing. And I played it a bit with Edith. I played it on my own as well. It's just a really, really fun game. However, this is a big however for me. Thomas the Tank Engine is aimed at kids. And that's all fine. And once you're in the game, that's fine. However, this is from the team behind Train Sim World. And it has a lot of the trappings of Train Sim World that don't make this a nice, accessible game for kids from the get-go. There's a fair amount of setting up you need to do. It's a bit awkward and clumsy in places. I don't think the tutorial's done in a way that it's kid-friendly. If you've got knowledge of the Train Sim World game, you can completely ignore it. But it's missing a little bit of kid-friendliness, which is what I think it needed. Yet at the same time, as someone who is in their 40s and possibly people in their 50s who would have grown up with the original Thomas the Tank Engine, it's a hell of a nostalgia trip as well. Overall, apart from some sort of I think some clunky onboarding, even like before release when I played it, it was broken and they did fix it. It's still clunky and I just don't think very intuitive. But the game itself, once it's set up, is just a joy. It is an absolute joy. It's got little mini games in there that are based around trace. It's like a shunting challenge and stuff like that. That's in. I said shunting, kid friendly. And yeah, just all like the different stories, and then you can just play it like a normal train sim world game. So there's timetables, and you have to go around to all the stations, keeping in line with like the timetables. There's free roam mode, so you can just pick a train and drive it. It's got everything in there that makes it absolutely brilliant. Loads of little nods, like if you've watched the series at any point in your life, you'll recognise bits in there. And it's really, really good. I'd say, I think this goes with, and we'll be talking about another part of theirs in a minute with my next game when I talk about it, DLC. They really need, I think now they've got their system set, and I think they really need to work on onboarding and accessibility and just that initial intro into their games, because when they originally came out and they was based around enthusiasts, great. Absolutely great. I get it. Yeah, that's fine. But now I think the Train Sim World games have gone on to a new audience, and now they're trying to go for a younger audience. They've got to really maybe go back to the drawing board a bit and think about how they onboard people. How can they make it more friendly, more intuitive, that kind of thing. But don't let that take away from what is an absolutely outstanding overall experience. That if you've got any nostalgic stuff about you, or you've got kids that might be into Thomas, it's well worth picking up.
That's, very interesting, isn't it? Because I suppose when you're thinking of getting a game out like this, so you want to use that IP, you want to go to the best. And I'm guessing that Dovetail are the best, if not, one of the best. But at the same time, they may not be the perfect fit conceptually for a child's game. But it sounds like it's worthwhile. They must have known. They must have done the research. They must have known what they were doing when they went with Dovetail. So all power to them.
Yeah, as I said, it's like me picking up the onboarding stuff is not an insult to the game. The game is brilliant. It's just that kids are going to need help getting through to actually play the game. And I think that's maybe where they could have used something. Can we do something that's a bit more kid-friendly and then bring that into Train Sim World, rather than going, right, we'll do what we've done with Train Sim World and bring that into Thomas. There's some changes made, but just not enough.
Yeah, no, that sounds fair. Okay. We'll see.
What new and exciting games have you been playing, Stu?
Well, fresh off the printing presses or whatever, the game cartridge presses, I've been playing Yoshi's Island on the SNES. So, only 31 years old. It's not too bad. So there you go. I'm sure pretty much everybody's played it by now, because it's been available on re-release for years. It came out on practically every console that Nintendo have released since. But always worth talking about, because it's just one of the best platform games ever made. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got this lovely watercolor visual to it, with like soft edges, very sort of heavy pencil styling, like filled in with childlike wonder of watercolors, crayon-y as well in places, and it's just got a really great, even younger kind of appearance with the edges blurred, than Mario World as Super Mario World, which is great. And it's also ageless, because of that style. It's just not aged a day, which is wonderful to see. And the game plays quite differently from Mario World, because even though it's kind of a direct sequel, with you taking on playing as Yoshi and all of Yoshi's abilities, it means it's focused around the grab with your tongue and the eggs that you produce from swallowing these enemies, which is a bit kind of brutal in a
bit macabre,
bit of a Kirby kind of a way, and you have to repurpose the eggs that you've created to shoot them at various obstacles, either at enemies or at puzzles and stuff like that. And you have little baby Mario on your back, and if you get hit, baby Mario floats off in a bubble and you have to rescue him, and you've got a strict time limit to get it. So it's got an unusual mechanic in terms of life and death in this, and you can't you can't die. It's just that baby Mario gets taken away from you.
It's the social services,
which is pretty dark anyway. No, he's not dead, but he's being brought up by evil. So yeah, it's kind of strange. But yeah, no, it's really great because it has enough of a Mario feel to be a Mario game, but it differentiates itself by being a bit more intricate. There's a bit more going on. You have to use your abilities in sort of very different ways. There's a lot more thinking involved. There's more puzzle elements, and although they're kind of fairly straightforward because it's still aimed at kids, it's quite cleverly uses the environment for them, the verticality and the depth, and also the abilities with your fire and your eggs and things like that. So it's got a very good and unusual twist on the formula, doing it that way. So yeah, and it's really big. It's like quite a large game, even though it's got a lot of replayability in that you've got to collect 100 points to do it perfectly, which is spread over various things that you can collect. And the things that you can collect, the types that you can collect, are spread over 3 different types. The way that they appear in the landscape is very different, but I won't spoil it in case people haven't played it and want to play it.
After 30 years.
I know, yeah. I should feel free to just ruin it for everyone, but I'm not gonna. But yeah, so it's very clever. It's an intelligent game. You can really feel how they went from this to Mario 64, because incredibly, there's only a year between them in when they were released. And you can really see that whole, we're going to make a bigger environment, it's going to be replayable, you're going to have to look in all the nooks and crannies, and you're going to have to use different tools to access those nooks and crannies. And there's tiny elements of that in Mario World, but nothing like that you have in what you have in Yoshi's Island and Mario 64. Yeah. So yeah, it's a real stepping stone. It's almost a bridge between 2D and 3D, and it uses the scaling chip that they had in these cartridges for some of them, like what's it called? The racing game. What was that called?
Mode 7.
Yeah, but it uses Mode 7.
F-Zero, sorry.
Yeah, but it uses the chip that they put in, the Super FX chip. That's what I was struggling for.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, my bad. The Super FX chip. So there's tons of like rotation and scaling and things like that, which you couldn't have without it. So it I'm not sure arguably it looks better than Mario World, but it will come down to taste as well. But it's a fantastic looking game, perfect for kids as well. Yeah. And it's just one of the all-timers, so definitely play it.
And I think it's an important one. You say obviously Yoshi's Island, and Mario 64 a year apart, give or take, obviously a few weeks and stuff like that. And I remember being as excited as anyone jumping into the new generation. 3D, oh my god, this is so real looking. Yeah, when you go back and look, there's a generation of games that have aged timelessly, and it's not that 32-bit generation. Because you look at the Mario games and even the Sonic games from the era, even like the old Toe Jam and L games. That okay, controls might have done it, but visually they've aged like a fine wine. Whereas Mario 64 and its ilk visually have aged like a rotten egg. They just don't hold up today. Hence the reason you get mods and remakes and remasters, like fan projects and that, because we want those games, but they're very important, but they look ugly in comparison. So yeah, it's I really like Yoshi's Island. Every now and again I pop it on and play some of it, and it's one of those. I know it is Super Mario World 2, essentially, but I can't, for me, my brain just doesn't put those two together. It just will not. They are completely separate entities in my world.
Yeah.
I don't, it feels like a Super Mario Brothers 2 situation where it shouldn't have been, but they decided to name it that anyway. So, yeah, but I love it. It's up there. It's not a Mario game, so it's not up there with my favourite Mario game, but it would be right up there with the original Super Mario World if it was an actual Mario game in my tier list.
Oh yeah, it's got to be, yeah. And however you class it, it's just genius. And as you say, it's weathered the storms of the years perfectly well. It hasn't aged a day, and it's still as charming and lovely as it ever was. And you used to get that very much towards the end of consoles' lives when all the technology had been perfected and the software development tools been pretty much perfected as well. And you love to see it. I mean, it doesn't happen anymore because there's no tricks to unlock, particularly in new consoles, because they're all PC based. But yeah,
they're all just iterations on shinier graphics now,
by and large.
And it's one of the reasons this whole graphics cards aren't being made anymore. I mean, oh god, and whatever the video would do with DLSS 5.
I
know. Yeah, I'm just like, do you know what? Fine, let's just stop increasing hardware in video games. Just let's draw a line. Let's say for the next 5 years, we've drawn a line. Just you make stuff. Let Valve decide the PC specs. 5 years, and that's all we get. Just make the games for that stuff. Screw the rest. We don't need 5090s. People who say they do, no, you don't. You really don't. You only think that because that's what the mega AAA studios have told you. You don't need a 5090. Hence the reason why. Is it still 16? Is it the 1660s are most common graphics cards now?
I think it's a 1060s, I think.
It was the 960s a while, not until fairly recently, weren't it? But they obviously not anymore. But yeah, there's a reason you don't need it bumped that far up. And as the Steam Deck has proved, if it's playable, people don't really care too much about graphics on the whole. So yeah, but once you've got a Steam Deck or a Steam machine or even a PC, get your deck or an equivalent set up and find some of these old games because they are amazing to play still.
Yeah, they totally are. It's worth it.
Anyway, going back to the train sims and Train Sim World 6 again, there's two genres, I believe, where I think visuals matter and I think they're an absolute showcase. But you can still do wonders on fairly modest hardware anyway. And that's racing games. Realistic racing games, because it's just something mind-blowing about a car realised in super stunning detail that just looks amazing. And simulator games like Train Simulator, Flight Sim, Bus Simulators, all those kind of things. I think, again, more visual fidelity with those that just make them look amazing. And to that end, I picked up, came across to me, and Train Sim World 6. It's a DLC for Liberec to Stará Paka. I'm probably butchering that. It's Czech. It's a route add-on for Train Sim World 6. It's the first time the series has ever done a route in the Czech Republic. So I was like, okay, well, we're picking this one up a bit. Let's give it a look. And I did. Now, the first thing we do need to mention with regards to these scenes, Train Sim World 6 is not designed for you to buy every add-on. It's not one of those where you have to buy all the DLC. How you can do it, I don't know, because this one is $32.99, and is the cost of, like, you could buy 10 copies of Vampire Survivors for the cost of this. But each route is in and itself a game. And it all depends what you want. And with this, it's a chance for, I think, digital tourism. And we've spoken about this in games before, digital tourism and how amazing it is. And what Train Sim World does is allows you to visit areas where you may never get the chance to go. And for me, this chance of looking at the Czech Republic through like the gaze of being in a train was something I really wanted to do. The train itself, I don't know enough about trains to talk about how realistic it is or anything, but it's fun to drive. It's simple enough to drive, but it's got different quirks to it compared to some of the trains you do, like the underground and stuff like that, and some of the steam trains you get in some of the other ones and everything. It's got their own quirks. And again, people who are really into their trains will be able to pick up all the minor differences. I could spot the larger differences, but and then have fun driving it. But what you've really got is you've got your timetables to complete as you go between Liberec and Stará Paka, and just the world you go through. It is so picturesque that I was missing stations at times. I had to kind of stick it in free roam mode and sort of like take out the timetable for a bit just to take in the world around me, because one of the things they've done with this is the digital recreations of the world you're in are absolutely sublime. They're not one-to-one, but they are as close to representational as possible. So you'll go through some areas that are one-to-one. So you go to a station, it's a one-to-one recreation of a station, and then the area surrounding that is almost one-to-one, and then as you get to more longer stretches, that's more representational. But going through various like urban areas and country areas of the Czech Republic is absolutely joyful. I loved my time with this, and I still love my time with this. I'll be playing more of it, jumping in and out when I fancy something just to relax to. Obviously, if people care about this sort of thing, it's got the correct signal system for the Czech Republic, which is different to signal systems in other parts of the world. So you've got to take that into consideration if you care about that kind of thing. And yeah, I just, as a piece of DLC, I would go, this is ridiculous, $32.99. But if you look at Train Sim World as a engine, and each DLC is a game within it, then yeah, I think it's fine. You're not meant to go in and buy every single piece of DLC. What you're meant to do is come across one that you go, oh, I'd really love to try that, and then try it. And to be honest, if you don't fancy $32.99 for it, they're quite often on sale as well. So if there's different jumping in points. But one of the things I want to mention with Train Sim World, and I'm surprised they haven't gone down this route yet, it feels almost like a game that would benefit from a subscription model. A small amount a month, I get access to all the DLC tracks or something, or something, or offering a rotation of them. Each month you get access to another line or something. Just something that gives people more of a taste of what else is there. Because when you pick up each new train sim world. If you picked up previous DLC, that all works on the whole, which is great. But then your starter packs are generally the same tracks and trains over and over. And I can see why someone who's not picking up all the DLC, so not super autistic, I mean, into all the train stuff, they're going to go, well, it's just the same thing over and over. I think they could get more people on board if they really sort of thought about their model a bit, but they've got to find a way of doing it that doesn't then just gouge people monthly, because I don't think that would be the right thing to do either. But anyway, if you fancy a trip through the Czech Republic, I can't think of many ways to do it better other than getting a ticket, flying over there and doing it yourself, and who can afford that these days?
Exactly. No, that sounds like a really excellent piece of DLC. I've been to Czech Republic years and years ago. I've been 3 times actually for various reasons, and it is beautiful countryside as well. And the one thing this seems like it might be missing is VR. Like, why not have a VR mode for it? Because people are crying out for extra VR content.
I don't know is the answer to that. Could be. So the reason is Dovetail don't make the DLC for their games. So they make the game and the engine for it. The trains, the tracks, the routes and everything are made by complete different studios. Just if they want to make one, they approach Dovetail, go, look, we want to do this, can we make it? And they go, yeah, go ahead. And there's some that have been doing it for years, and there's others that, like, for example, the team who made this one, this is their very first piece of content for Train Sim World. It's Vector Simulations. And this is their very first piece of DLC, I believe. Well, very first content. So they might not have the wherewithal or the experience to do VR. And then maybe Dovetail don't want that whole, well, you can do VR on these bits, but not this bit. And then they've got to decide how they present. It's just something maybe they don't want to do. There might be mods for it that you can do. I don't know. But yeah, it does seem like a strange one. But at the same time, I think because of the way they approach DLC and add-ons, I get it at the same time. But obviously, I can imagine for yourself as a VR enthusiast, anything that adds VR would be great. And I think it would be an amazing VR game, but it does, for me, I haven't been sitting there thinking, this would be great in VR. Whatever they're doing, I think they're doing a good job of doing.
Good, yeah. No, I want them to survive and make the best business decisions for themselves so that they perpetuate what they're doing, because it's such a great niche. It's not one that I'm into, but it is such a great niche. I always like it. It's one of those I appreciate from a distance sort of thing. So no, I'm glad they're doing well, and that looks like a great route that they've picked as well.
Because you're not as autistic as the rest of us.
Maybe not.
But just for people to know, the current count is 147 add-ons.
Wow.
So and it's I think I don't like calling these DLC actually, because I think for me this goes back to the old PC days of expansion pack rather than DLC. So like the old Sims and stuff like that, where you'd pay 20 quid, 25 quid for the main game, and then a couple of years later it's another 18, 19 pounds for an expansion pack. But it just adds a whole new level to the game of content for people who love that sort of thing. And this is what this is. It kind of harks back to that era. And if you did want to jump in on an add-on, by the way, at the moment, on sale at the moment is the most exciting of add-ons. You can go London Euston to Milton Keynes for $5.99. It's cheaper than getting there in real life.
Oh God, do you know I've done that route a few times in one of my old jobs when I was working for River Island, because their main warehouse is in Milton Keynes. And I've done that.
And how much was the train ticket? Was it more expensive than $5.99?
It was. I think it's about 15 quid, something like that.
Well, to give you an example of the sort of discounts you get when they do go on discount, so that route is usually $20.99 on the game, not your normal ticket. It's 80% off at the moment. Or if you fancied America, Harlem Line, Grand Central Terminal to North Plains, North White Plains is currently down to $4.99. So again, after a while, a lot of these do go on sale, so they are worth jumping in on if you're into any of this. And you want to buy stuff, if you love this and you've got to do it, then great, you'll get 30 quid's worth of value out of this if you're really into it. If you're someone who dabbles and wants to now and again try something, wait for sales. But I love these. I think there are bigger arguments to had over whales and gouging and how it all works, but for me, on the whole, I think this is one of the better models out there, because you don't have to buy these and you're not losing anything by not having them, but they do add a ton of value for people who do want them. This was brilliant. I've never experienced a Czech Republic before, but I want to go even more now.
I bet, yeah. I take it you still need to own the base game if you want to buy any of these cheaper add-ons.
You do? Yeah. So anything you need the base newest game for. However, let me just do a little bit of in-housery. The base game for Train Sim World 6 is at the moment it's on sale for $17.99, and that gives you the main Train Sim World 6 and some a few add-ons. So you get Leipzig to Dresden with that one. You also get Morristown, New York line, Morristown line, New York, and some other bits in there as well. I'm just trying to find, because you definitely used to be able to buy just the game itself, but there's so many editions out there that I can't find how much just the game on its own is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can pick it up really cheap. The game most of the time. I think not long after it came out, it was pennies almost for the main game. I do think at this point they should be offering the base game with a route. It's basic tutorial underground route. I think that should be a free-to-play game, in all fairness, and then everything's add-on. But at the same time, for, I say, 18 quid with the game, whatever it's built into the main game, and then a few add-ons, it's not a bad starting off point for people jumping in there.
Awesome. I might have to watch some videos of people playing that, because I quite fancy that, going to bed and watching a few of those while I fall asleep.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing to start doing. It's something quite, people, when you talk, it's the same as you watch people who are really into, the bus driving sims, and they get really into it, and they act it out, and everything. It's brilliant. I love these people. I do. Yeah. And I love that they're able to do this because of these games. Yeah,
me too. Right. They feel like my people. I feel adjacent at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might... I want to do... Laura K. Dale, who we know, and we don't know personally, that sounded really weird there, but we know of, is an autistic video game creator. And they got a train controller and a Steam Deck, and took it on the actual route that they was playing, and took it with them and everything. I was like, I kind of want to do that. So the controller's about 120 quid, I think you can get it for.
Yeah,
but it's got all the bits on there, and I kind of really want it.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Yeah. But I've got nowhere at home I can really set up at the moment to do it, because I don't think you can do it on your lap. So you'd need at least a table, but I kind of really want to do that.
Oof, yeah, that would be good. I love that.
You'll guarantee no one comes and sits next to you on the train.
Yeah, you'd be keeping that seat free, wouldn't you?
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm driving the train. Yeah, look. Okay.
Yeah, my seat is in another carriage. I'm off.
But it's all good. I love this stuff. Just the enthusiasm people have for all of this is just, I think, what does it for me. More people like that in the world, please.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's it for me. I don't know what else you want, Shu. What more do you want from
What do I want from you? I want the world, Bradley. No.
I can give it to you in digital add-on form.
Yeah, for a price.
Yes.
But no, that's it. I think we're done for the week. Yeah, I've not really been playing anything else. I didn't mention last week, but I've got the platinum on Resident Evil Requiem. So, like,
wow.
Done absolutely everything that you can on it, specifically including completing it on Insanity mode, which really does live up to its name. It's just like basically one-hit kills from practically every creature in the game. But yeah, that was great. I loved that. So I've absolutely rinsed it, and I have to stop myself going back to it because I'm like, I really want to play it, but I've got nothing else to do in the game, but I really want to play it. So yeah, that's been a challenge.
Are they going to do anything for it in the future?
There's supposed to be DLC. Yeah, they've announced some. So when that comes out, I'll be buying it without a doubt, because their DLC tends to be really good, Capcom.
Am I assuming that's going to be in the discussion later this year?
Oh, I think so. I think so. It's what's funny is I was like when they announced this and they announced Pragmata, I was like, oh yeah, Resident Evil, yeah, a new one, fair enough. But Pragmata, I can't wait for that one. Now I'm like, what? Pragmata, what? But yeah, no, I'm hoping that's going to be a good one as well.
It'll come second to Slay the Spire, I suppose.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
I'm still constantly rinsing that. Slay the Spire 2 is an allegory for life. I've played hours, countless hours of it, failing, then getting somewhere, winning, not realising how quiet I've done it, trying to spend a while trying to recreate that feeling, and then failing many more times, but they continuing to carry on. It's all about failing.
Life is about failure. Yeah. But no, that it's funny because every time I was firing up, Resident Evil, I was seeing you firing up Slay the Spire, so we were both obsessed.
The irony being, every time I was firing up Slay the Spire, all it came up with Treble is playing Resident Evil 9 Requiem, or whatever it's titled.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, a dangerous obsession.
Video games. Again, this is what video game talk should be about, not all the bullshit around DLSS 5 and Nvidia and AI marketing and...
I know. You can get Requiem to run so well on the Steam Deck, like way better than you would ever imagine. Tons better than like Expedition 33, for example. It just runs really, really well. So impressed. Yeah,
Capcom are really good at stuff like that. I just wish they'd share what their secrets are, what their knowledge is with some more indies, so indies can get stuff that when they want to push the boundaries can get it running as well, because it only benefits the wider gaming world.
Yeah.
But they are a corporation at the end of the day still, so...
Yeah, but I think you're right. If they did a subscription model for being able to use the RE engine but make it really cheap, they'd make a ton of money off that. But hey, what do I know?
No, you can have Unreal Engine 5 and lump it.
Apparently, yeah.
With DLSS 5 to make your women's more women things.
More MAGA face, yeah.
Yeah, get all the subtle lighting out of there. Who wants subtle lighting?
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to be DLSS 5 off.
And there he is, he's gone. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, so as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you're checking out the content on the website. Listen to us and join with us to chat on Discord if you wish. And until next week, stay safe and stay sane.